Minister Kamara, welcome in Belgium.
Thank you very much.
We are here to see what Sierra Leone is doing to attract those investors from Western Europe or the whole of Europe. And first question I would like to ask is, why is it interesting for European investors to go to Sierra Leone and invest in your country?
Thank you. Let me start by thanking you very much for the nice coverage you've done on Sierra Leone. We hope this document will be appreciated by people who access it, because it's a very frank story on where Sierra Leone is at the moment and what Sierra Leone is trying to do to attract investors as development partners, not as business people, but mainly as development partners. Since you left us, I think we've tried to make a number of, quite a lot of progress in pushing forward those factors which we think are of the greatest concern to investors generally. But we try to focus European investors given our historical background. Since we last had the Trade and Investment Forum in London, which was very successful a couple of 1 or 2 years ago, we've tried to continue to improve on the investment climate. In the areas of doing business, for instance, and the indices, I think we've made a very good improvement. I think we are not in the bottom 10 again. And I think as time goes on, we'll try to improve upon that. But on our own, we're also looking at those other aspects like the legal framework, what it takes for investors to for instance, to register companies, to go through all the legal processes and procedures. I think we've shortened this. Now it takes a very, very short time. I understand from the sleeper, it's less than 10 days at the most to register a company, and so the hassle has been reduced considerably. And then, of course, when it comes to the other aspects, we are doing a market-based economy, so we're really liberalizing significantly in terms of capital inflows, capital outflows, readers of dividend and this sort of. So I don't think investors would have the hassle of running around to seek permission for remittances of their investments once they make profits and once it is consistent with the tax structure of the country. But of course, even the tax regime, it will be negotiated, they will know, and government is very liberal. We have quite a comprehensive package of incentives depending on which sector you are going. And then on our own, we are also looking at infrastructural bottlenecks, roads, telecommunications, and I think here again we're making a lot of improvement. Coming and going out of the country, there are two ways. At the airports, we're trying to modernize the airports. We have a three-pronged project that we are trying to sell. We call it the tripartite project, which looks at modernizing the Leone International Airport, making it internationally competitive. We're trying to build a new city around that area, including hotels, everything, so that you don't have to leave the airport area to do all your businesses, this sort of thing. Hopefully, when that city expands, who knows, it might take over Freetown, because Freetown really has exhausted its carrying capacity. And then the biggest hurdle, of course, for now is the link between international airports and Freetown, the capital city. Again, a bridge is part of this three-pronged approach. We're trying to sell it to investors, and very soon we may be calling another investment forum to look at that. At the seaport, we now have international companies running the seaport for us in terms of containerization. Bolloré, a big French company, is looking at it. We're also looking at what it takes to look at how to facilitate process relating to clearance facilities, port clearance, customs clearance, shipping, and all of that. So I think we have the investors in mind, because they are our hope now. given what is happening in the donor front. So we're looking at private foreign investors to come and partner with us, and that's why the government is very, very ready to accommodate them and discuss with them so that we'll be able to move in, as I said earlier, as partners, not as, I want them not as business enterprises alone, but as partners in development.
Now, there's a few concerns, of course, that investors have, which is the case with every country. And one of the concerns is how easy is it to get goods in and get goods out, how much hassle is there, even worries about corruption, getting your goods out, things like that. What is the government doing to make sure that this is made according to norms that we are used to in Western Europe?
I think what we're trying to do is to build institutions that will replace personal discretion, that will replace the human touch in the processing of customs clearance, in the processing of ports clearance. And as I said earlier, we now have a big company that is running our containerization. It's a company called Bolloré from France. I think they are very, very big. And it's easier when you deal with them. So you don't have anything to do with the government or government officials, this sort of thing. And then even the aspects of, we have one aspect called inspection to ensure that the goods are not under invoice, just for recording purposes, also for tax purposes. We also institutionalize in that. Very soon the government will appoint a reputable company to run that. So the government is taking its hands off, watching out all of this, and bringing in those institutions that have reputation, international reputation, to undergo these processes. And that's our only hope. That's our big hope. We're having that at the airports, and we're trying to do that at the ports, you know. But of course, once you don't have ships and this sort of thing, so one area is freight. Freight is still very high. We understand, but we're trying to address that aspect as well. But I think it is much easier now. It is much easier, and the environment is much better. The aspects of corruption, I think, has been reduced significantly by encouraging these international companies to come and help run some of these areas.
Is there some last thought, some last word that you would say to investors?
Well, the last one I would say is that, as we always keep saying, Sierra Leone is not the Sierra Leone before. Sierra Leone today is a different Sierra Leone. And Sierra Leone tomorrow will be a Sierra Leone for everybody. It will be a Sierra Leone with clean, clear rules of engagement, this sort of thing. So I think investors should really take Sierra Leone as a country that is evolving, that is growing, and therefore it has a lot of opportunities, that is engaging, you know, this sort of thing. So we look forward to as many investors as possible.
Time, what are the most interesting points of Sierra Leone? So why should people come to Sierra Leone?
Come to Sierra Leone. There is peace, there's a strong political stability, and the economy is also not doing badly. There's a strong macroeconomic environment. But over and above that, I think we have a strong leadership that is very sure about a clear path, future direction. In terms of investment, I think we have done a lot to improve on the investment climate in contracting, relationships with businesses, and we have a good package of incentives, tax breaks, and this sort of thing. But I think what's investors more interested in, we have opportunities that are highly profitable from whatever perspective you may look at, in mining, in agriculture. Australia is a virgin territory in terms of value addition and investment, in manufacturing, or in all sectors. In fisheries, for instance, I know we still haven't yet been able to enter the European market in fishery, but we have among the best fishes in the world, and once we are able to have good investment, European investment, that can lead as a gateway to enter the European fish market.